right, and then I want to share my screen.
Hello.
Hi, Lindy. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Where are you coming to us from?
Well, I'm in London at the moment,
Oh, lovely.
but I
Super.
live in Athens.
You live normally in Athens.
I
Okay,
do. I do.
super.
I just so
Really good.
yeah.
Okay, well,
Hmm.
welcome and
Thank you.
let's get started. So, welcome to everybody. This is our masterclass supporting your teen with ADHD, a parent's guide. Um, I really am recognizing a need for this kind of support. I work with teens and I work with families. And before that, I was an English tutor. And I can really see that there is a growing need because children are being labeled as lazy. He's just not interested. These are the kind of things parents are telling me. And I've worked with the teens and I've studied all of this. And I really realize that the children are struggling and that they need support and that the school can't actually give them the support they need because the teacher's job is to teach the material. And they are given that by the education system, and there's a great demand on them to get through everything that is needed for them to teach the children. And so the children that are struggling will just get left on the wayside, and the teachers aren't actually equipped to support them. And there are teachers that do try, and hats off to them and well done for that. And it's not even the parents' job really to support all the children and get them to study. It is their job to support them, but it's not their job to push them to study all the time. Children need to relax into their parents' love. Children need to feel safe at home. Children need to have a connection, strong bonds of love and connection. So that's what I've really seen that there's a need for. And this is why I've created this masterclass and a program to support this, to get the children the support so that moms and dads can just be the safe space for the children to build connections, because that child is going to go out into the world one day. And if it feels that, I didn't study well, mom was never happy with me, dad was always pushing me, I was never good enough, they're going to struggle to get through in life and struggle to lead lovely, successful lives. So, my name is Nicole. I am married to a Greek here in Athens. I've been here for over 30 years now, and I'm originally from South Africa, as Sarah really rightly recognized my accent. So I'm a mom of two teenage boys, both of them with ADHD, both of them are dyslexic. One is 16 now, and one is 13. I've had over 25 years experience in educating children. I am a child self-esteem elevation coach, accredited emotional freedom techniques practitioner, and I'll get more into that a little bit later, an ADHD support coach, a student mentor, and a parent mentor. So that is a little bit about me. Okay, so today what we're going to cover is ADHD beyond the label, so that we can have a deeper understanding of what ADHD truly means for you, for your teen. We're going to be looking at the executive function strategies. What are they and how we can help develop them in our teens? We're going to be looking at emotional regulation tools and techniques to help you and your teen manage emotional highs and lows, because it's very hard and it's very difficult to be parents of children with ADHD, and we don't have support. And so I am going to show you some techniques tonight that you can help support yourself. We're going to look into building a nurturing environment at home. And I'm going to be sharing with you my special bonus offer, which would be an invitation to work with me one-on-one for 5 days, totally free, looking at the strategies that you can start implement to support yourself and your teen. And so that is my special offer. This is a new program I'm launching, and I really want to know your feedback. I want to know, has it helped? Is it helping you? Is it helping your teen? And I am going to be very transparent here. What I want are reviews so that if this is helpful, other people can find me and I can go and help and support them as well. So that is with my offer. And at the end, we'll have a little bit of Q&A time. All right, so the faces of ADHD. So just as no two snowflakes are alike, no two individuals with ADHD have the exact same experience. And this can be very confusing to parents because they go, well, my child doesn't have any problem concentrating, or my child doesn't display this. When he wants to, he can focus very well. It's just on the things he doesn't want to focus on. So if that is resonating with you, if you've kind of heard that before, like, or you've thought that about your child, just write a big yes in the chat for me so I know that you are feeling this and understanding where I'm coming from. So ADHD presents unique challenges and behaviors in varying degrees and intensities. So let's have a little look at the different phases of ADHD. So there is attention, difficulty maintaining focus and easily distracted. Hyperactivity, excess energy, difficulties to stay still. Impulsivity, acting without thinking, being very impatient at times. Struggling with organization, with planning and keeping tasks in order. And emotionality, intense emotions, and having difficulty in regulating those feelings. So if one of these is what you're seeing in your child, and it might be one, it might be more, if you could just put in the chat to me, which one of these characteristics are you seeing in your child? All right. So complexity and overlap. Most individuals with ADHD experience a combination of these challenges, and the intensity can change daily. So it's not always the same. Some days they're having a really great day and you can hardly see any of these symptoms. And other days they are struggling a lot more than usual, and it's going to be quite a rough and difficult day. So each person's journey is unique. And while you may notice familiar patterns, each child experience may differ. And I can promise you, with two sons with ADHD, we're having two very different journeys with it. The older one has had very, very intense symptoms when he was younger. And the younger one actually seemed quite grounded and good. And they got aggravated through lockdown with having to do online lessons and things like that. And they show up totally different. They are not the same. Coming through is the same. One can concentrate a bit more. One's more hyperactive. And so they come through as very different. Okay, so we have somebody in the chat here. All right, so Nicholas is saying attention, huh? So here we are, attention. Wonderful. Okay, so while often misunderstood as simply being unable to focus, it is actually more accurately described as a difficulty in regulating attention. So this involves recognizing what is important for the child to focus on. It might battle, it might not think that this is something that it is important for them to focus on right now. And I mean, my son did that. I remember organizing his school books. I think he was in second year of middle school. And I was sitting there and I was helping him label them. And I bought lovely boxes and we were putting them all in boxes so that the notebooks would be kept with the actual school books. It was easy for him to find every morning. And then he gives me this pile of books. And I said, well, where do these books belong? Well, what category are we going to put these in? He said, oh, these are the unimportant ones, Mom. I said, what do you mean the unimportant ones? And he said, no, these are not important subjects. Okay, so he had decided to split up all the different subjects as to ones that were important to him and ones that weren't important to him. Okay, so shifting attention between tasks. So I don't know if you can relate to this, that they might be watching TV and then it's study time. And you say, all right, and they go, oh no, 10 minutes, just till the end of the show. I just need this much time. And you say, all right, you have your 10 minutes, you watch the end of the show, and then the TV's coming off, and you walk away feeling quite happy and confident that you've reached a suitable agreement with your child. And half an hour later, you check in and they're still in front of the TV. So it's very difficult for them to transition from the one task to the other task. And they can actually get really, really focused and intense on what they are doing. And they don't know how to bring themselves out of it and then into go on to the next activity that they need to be doing. So if that sounds familiar to you, if your child is doing something like that, like you can't get them to stop doing something that they're really involved in to go and do something else, then just write familiar in the chat for me so I know that you guys are tracking with me here. All right. How it can present. So if just from Peanuts, I don't know if any of you remember Peppermint Patty. Struggles with classroom focus. She can't concentrate. She can't pay attention to the teacher. And it has a lot of difficulty shifting from the one subject to another subject. Or if the teacher's busy getting them to do an exercise and then wants to come back into a little bit more theory work, she really struggled with that. And Cookie Monster, on the other hand, from Sesame Street, he displays hyperfocus. He fixates intensely on those cooking, making it so difficult to switch his attention to anything else. And I think a lot of us are seeing that with the phones and the social media, that is once they get involved in their TikToks, their Instagrams, it's very, very difficult to bring them out and actually listen. The other day, my younger son was walking around the house and he was getting ready to go for his football practice. And he had the phone in one hand and putting on his shoes at the same time. So when they are really, really intense in there are certain strategies that we need to put in place to bring them out gently. All right. So the key insight here is managing attention involves more complexity than merely paying attention. It's very different to manage what you're paying attention to and just simply paying attention. It encompasses recognizing, focusing, shifting, and stopping attention based on context and demands. Okay. All right, so hyperactivity, and I love this quote here. So Dr. Ned Haller, he likens children with ADHD to having a Ferrari brain with bicycle brakes. Okay, and this is to illustrate the struggle that they have to regulate their thoughts. So the internal activity can also lead to challenges afterwards, like sleep difficulties. If your children are having difficulty falling asleep at night, just write sleep in the chat for me. which can compound the effects of the restless mind and body. It's like the moment they go to sleep, the moment they go and lie down, all of a sudden that brain is wide awake and trying to process the whole day's information. Okay, let's get these up. So, hyperactivity in children with ADHD is often associated with constant movement, but actually it encompasses much more. It involves both external hyperactivity, physical restlessness, often appearing as if it's fueled by boundless energy, and internal hyperactivity, a racing brain that can be so difficult to calm. And then we have impulsivity. Children with ADHD often struggle with impulsivity, which can sometimes appear as rudeness or aggression, like they can't wait their turn. It's me, me, me. And, they have a lot of difficulty being patient. So this behavior stems from the brain wiring that makes it hard to pause and consider the future or potential consequences before acting. So for these children, life often feels like it exists in two time frames, now and not now. So it is actually in the brain that is causing this inside of them, and not because they're just particularly rude or selfish. Okay, so this can lead to acting without thinking, without a ready, set, go process. It's just go. So they don't think before they act, they don't think before they speak. They have difficulty learning from past mistakes or anticipating outcomes. So even if they've done something like it in the past and that, you've spoken to them, you've said, when we go to a party, this is maybe for younger children, don't grab all the cookies for yourself, wait until the other children take a cookie and then you can have one. And they just can't seem to stop themselves. And the next party you go to, they're grabbing at all the cookies again. So they interrupt conversation. So you might be talking with your spouse and they don't seem to even be aware that you're talking, and they just jump in and expect you to give you your attention straight away. All right. And also, of course, there's a greater risk of physical harm due to impulsive actions. So they might, think of jumping off the sofa, or maybe they will go out on their bicycles and, they could be riding too fast or different things that the teens get up to. They don't actually think that if I'm doing this, this could be the effect or the consequence of what I'm doing. So they just live in the moment all the time. Oh, this is great fun. Now I'm doing this now. All right. So understanding this can help we can help them to reframe their challenges as a struggle for self-control in the moment rather than intentional defiance. So if we get a deeper understanding of what's going in their brain, we don't think they're being rude or disrespectful or many of the other things that we can hear. All right. Then there's the organization. They struggle with organization. If this is a big one for you, write organization in the chat for me. It's reflected in their cluttered rooms and overflowing backpacks. I can promise you within a month of me organizing all my son's books and folders and files, they were just all one big pile on a table. Every time he came home, he would just empty that and grab the ones that he needed for the next day, and none of them ever got filed nicely on the shelf. All right, so effective organization requires planning, prioritizing, and self-management, skills that are especially difficult for those with distractibility, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. So there again, we need to find and put in strategies and systems to help aid and support them. Otherwise, like this poor guy, he missed his flight because he wasn't organized. Okay. So with children with ADHD, often struggle with impulsivity, which that's from the other one. So we're talking about the organization. So let's just move forward. There we go. So this challenge extends beyond keeping track of belonging and impacts. It's time management and meeting responsibilities. So if your teen is often late, like my son thinks that if his study center, he has to be there at 7:15, he will start leaving the house at 7:15 to get there. So we had to manage that, and but it was very, very difficult and very challenging to help him and support him that he actually needed 10 minutes to get there and he has to leave 10 minutes earlier. All right. They might have self-care a routine such as their hygiene. Maybe they're not taking care of themselves, showering every night, cleaning their teeth, twice a day, the food and eating choices. And if they have to take any sort of medication, are they remembering it to take it on time, or are you there behind them having to remind them? All right. There's also reliability and follow through. So they've said to you, oh, I'm going to be doing this, and you kind of relying on that to be done. And, but then they just forget about it and they don't actually do what they have been asked to do, which can put a strain on relationships. Okay. So which one of those is your teen having difficulty with? Is it time management? Is it self-care? Or is it reliability and follow through? Just put it in the chat and we'll have a look at all these lovely things afterwards. So let's go on. So there's also the emotional intensity. All right. So this is quite a newer aspect, focus of the ADHD awareness. It's emphasizing that emotional regulation is a key executive skill, often delayed in children with ADHD. So these were probably the children that had the meltdowns, the rage in the house, and things like that. If you ask them to do something, or if you take them away from something that they were enjoying doing, or they feel like you are pressurizing them, it's too much nagging on them, they might respond with anger. They have difficulty to manage their moods, how to handle disappointments, and to maintain strong relationships. Okay, I'm just going to have a look in the chat. Okay, so we had organization, all three, time management and reliability. Great. All right, I can feel you all. So understanding the six core areas. So this is what is so undeveloped in children with ADHD, but it can be developed and we can build it up in them. So I don't want you to lose hope that we can, with the right support, we can actually help them develop this. Okay, so this is executive function refers to the brain's ability to organize thoughts, feelings, and actions. So, like an orchestra conductor guiding a performance, okay, who's going to play what in the orchestra. For individuals with ADHD, it's as though their brain lacks this conductor, leading to disorganization and difficulty with self-regulation. Many experts suggest viewing ADHD as a deficit in executive functions, which offer clearer insight and targeted strategies for managing the ADHD challenges. So we want to be aware of what struggles our children are going through, that we know that their executive function is not performing as well as it should, and therefore we can now step in and help and support them rather than moan at them, punish them, and point out all their mistakes, hoping that by telling them that you do this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, that tomorrow they're going to do better. Okay. So The executive functions are often impaired or delayed in teens with ADHD, impacting their ability to effectively manage behavior, emotions, and daily tasks. These areas are grounded in research from clinical psychologist Thomas E. Brown and terminology from Dr. Mark Burton. So these are the clinical psychologists that have researched this. Understanding these areas is key to supporting those with ADHD and managing their unique challenges. So these are the 6 core areas. There's task management, attention management, effort management, emotional management, information management, and action management. So tonight, unfortunately, with our time, I cannot go through all of these with you. So I have just chosen 2. The one is the task management. Okay. So these challenges involves difficulties with starting tasks, procrastination, prioritizing, which is important to do. And like somebody, if a teen is studying for something for school, it might prioritize a maths test in 3 days and not do the language assignment that's due for tomorrow. Individuals may struggle to initiate actions, only completing tasks at the last moment when urgency arises. So when there's no more time, and that if it's not done, there's going to be a bad consequence, that's the time they jump on with that. Does that resonate with you? Have you seen that? If so, type resonate in the chat for me. So the pros of this is ability to respond well in high pressure situations. Okay, so if they have to suddenly do something on the spur of the moment, they're your guy. They're going to jump in and do it. They have a lot of flexibility and adaptability. Their responsiveness to new opportunities and tendency towards spontaneity. The cons, they can appear lazy or disrespectful, and obviously it will lead to disorganization. Okay, so this is something that if you want to take a screenshot of this or take some notes, please feel free to do it. So in helping them with task management, we want to break the tasks into smaller steps and to create a visual schedule for them. If they can see something, if they have something up on the wall, that the things are all there that they need to do, then that can really, really help. An example is if your teen's room is very messy. I know, surprise, surprise. I'm sure they're all nice and tidy, but if it is messy, and you just walk in there and you say, I really need you to clean up the room right now, and you walk out, they probably are not going to even start cleaning up the room because the mess is too overwhelming. So what you can do there is you can have a chart on the wall where you would say, clean up the room. Okay. And you would break that task into smaller steps. So you would say, books on the shelf, dirty clothes in the hamper. It sounds like it's for very small children, but really and truly, we have to remember that their executive function skills are behind, they are delayed. Okay, so what we want to do is stepping in and helping and supporting them. So if the list is up there and they have the list to refer to, they will probably start and be able to manage and complete the task. Over time, they will not even look at the list. So the list is just supporting them right now. I can remember with my 2 boys, we rent this beautiful summer house in the Peloponnese in a village called Akrata. And so we would go there often. And right from when they were small, I would sit with them to pack the bags to go. So I would draw the t-shirts on and draw 3 little sticks next to the t-shirt if we were going for the weekend. And I would just have the t-shirt on the board and I would say, all right, go and get a t-shirt. And they would bring 1 and we would rub off a stick. Okay. And then 2. And as they got older, I could put more things and then start putting the actual numbers next to them. And they could just count all 3 and bring them and put them in their bag. All right. And we did this, and I would always help them calculate how many days we're going for. 5. So we need to bring an extra set of clothes just in case something happens. And by the time they were 7 or 8, they were packing their bags totally on their own, ready for us to go. I didn't have to interfere. I think once my oldest son came and he'd left all his tracksuit pants behind, all of them, didn't even bring one. Um, and but that stayed with him. And then since then, he didn't actually ever forget anything. But in the beginning, I had visual lists up on their wall for them to do that. Visual lists up on their wall for how to clean up the room. All right. So you create the visual schedule, and you can attach new tasks to something that is already established. So to me, this is gold. Okay. So if they, like my oldest son has to unpack the dishwasher for me. That is his chore in the house. Okay. And of course, I would end my working day, go down, ready to pack all the day's dishes into an empty dishwasher, and the dishwasher would be still full of the clean dishes. And so I had to really decide what are we going to do there. So what I did was that I attached it to something that he was doing earlier. So when he had to feed the dog, that was in already a routine. And I would say, as soon as you feed the dog, you do the dishwasher. And it needed reminding 2 or 3 times because remember, we're building. But after a while, he would feed the dog and just automatically go and unpack the dishwasher. So we put it on something that they're already doing really, really helps them. And to have routines and a program to help support that. All right. So here we go. Establish a consistent routine with your time management tools. Encourage a consistent as use time as alarms or visual clocks to help your child stay on track. So we have a little Google speaker in the house, and yeah, I would get them. I would be down, eat lunch with them, and then I would come upstairs to begin my afternoon sessions and things like that. And they had to get themselves off to their various activities. So we would say, all right, what time, Jay, do you have football today? And he would say, oh, at 3. Okay, so you have to leave the house at what time? Oh, I have to leave the house at 2:45. So we would put the timer on for 2:45. So he would know and the little Google thing would just go ding a ding a ding ding a ding a ding, and he knew he had to leave the house. So these are really, really helpful things to help them also stay independent. And it just meant that I wasn't on at him, oh, do you remember to go? You have to go on time? Remember to be there on time? Remember to leave the house? And all of that is actually, gets very irritating for them. We create specific blocks of times in the day for them to do certain amount of things. So they have homework, their chores, breaks can be built in. We're going to have transitional things that they're going to need to be doing to get from the one chore to the next chore in place. And but all of this will make it better to start and to finish tasks. So in our house, no screens, we're in a no screen zone all of Sunday until 3 p.m. All right. And they know that very, very well. There's no phones, there's no PlayStation, there's nothing. And whatever homework hasn't been done during the week, this is the time to do it. And they can then do something that is just totally unscreen related. Of course, if homework is not done by 3, screens do not come on. So we set the schedule and they know it. And if they do sneak the screen on, then we have arranged a consequence for that in a meeting with them, that if you forget and put your screens on, what can the consequence be? And then they will tell me that they will give me their phone for the rest of the day or something like that, something that we are both in agreement with. We're not trying to punish our teens because they are struggling with this. We are trying to support them. So we are talking to them all the time. We are arranging, we're telling them what our worries, our fears are. They're telling us what theirs are, and we're coming to something together, a plan that we can work on together. And if you find that they can't stick to the plan, then we just need to rearrange the plan. Something's not working somewhere. So we want to be giving them their a way of thinking to help them step into being more responsible for themselves now and also for the future. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was the emotional management. So there's low threshold for frustration, difficulty in regulating emotions, oversensitivity and inappropriate responses, easily overwhelmed by emotions, and a high propensity for drama. So the pros are they are probably incredibly empathetic. They are very attentive, perhaps, to their friends. Again, this does not apply to every teen, because as we said, it all presents differently. And management of this challenge can lead to significant improvements in self-awareness. The cons, they can appear too angry or too sensitive. All right, so again, a screenshot here for you so you can take this away and start implementing it. So things that we can do, either for ourselves, if we're feeling very emotionally upset about something our teen has done or said to us or has not done, then we can start to manage our emotional response to the situation. So there is the breathing technique, the box breathing. Okay, and box breathing, it deeply calms the nervous system, helps reduce stress, and creates a sense of control during emotional moments. So I would like you all to join me in doing some box breathing, and I will just let you know how we do this. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. And we keep doing this until we feel that we've calmed down. So are we ready to go? Type a yes in the chat for me, and I will show you how to do some box breathing. Wonderful. Okay. So whenever I do my breathing, I like to just put my hands here. And so now we're going to breathe in to the count of 4. I'll count it out on my fingers. Okay, so 1, and now we're going to hold it for 4. And out for 4. Hold for 4. And let's do it again. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. Hold for 4. Super. Does that feel calmer? Are you feeling a little bit calmer? Great. So that is something that if your teen is prone to getting emotionally upset, and you can see when they're upset, they're actually short for breath, is that you can either do that breathing technique with them, show them how to do it in a quieter moment, and then remind them when they're angry and upset that this is, if they are ready to do that, you're happy to do it with them, or they can do it on their own. So meditation is another great one. It helps to build self-awareness and reduces impulsivity and improves the ability to respond thoughtfully to intense emotion. So this you can just have like a headset. On YouTube, there's so many meditations, just relaxing music. It doesn't have to be somebody speaking to them. They can just, if they can even start building a meditation routine, perhaps in the afternoon before starting homework or something like that, they can just take 10 minutes and lie down and just quietly breathe and just try not think of anything, either with or without music. And then we have our emotional freedom techniques. This is another word for this is tapping. This is, to me, one of the it's an amazing technique. I cannot stop singing its praises. It's just by tapping gently on certain specific meridian points while you focus on your bad feelings, your angriness, your sadness, or whatever it is, it can help lower stress, reduce anxiety, and gain a better emotional balance in challenging situations. Okay. And if we have time at the end, I would love to take you through a short little tapping round. If that's something that you would be interested in, then just give me a big yes in the chat and I will make time to fit that in. All right, so we want to build a very strong and nurturing environment within the house, within the child's home, his safe place. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the importance of connection. So managing ADHD requires education, finding out what it is, understanding, acceptance, action, and connection. Strong relationships are key to effectively managing ADHD in children. Building a positive, connected relationship with your teen is crucial for their success. A connected relationship helps parents manage frustration and challenges that they are experiencing with ADHD. Prioritizing the relationship lays a foundation for long-term success and focuses on building a strong bond before using specific ADHD management techniques. So we're going to build the bond, and then we're going to introduce the techniques. And in that way, your teen will be more open, more receptive to cooperating in what you're going to be helping them with. All right. So kids need support, guidance, and encouragement, especially during the challenging times. Sometimes focusing on building confidence and connection is far more important than addressing tasks. A strong, healthy relationship provides a foundation for teaching self-management. Okay, so I want to give you a little example on how focusing on building the confidence and connection is more important than addressing the tasks. It is frustrating when what we ask from our children is not a lot, and we're thinking of everything that we are doing to help and support them, and now they are not really cooperating. Okay. It's also very, very important to remember that our children aren't robots. They cannot do everything in a day that, the days are quite stressful, especially, I don't have a picture of schools outside of Greece. But in Greece, the children are asked to be in school for many, many hours a day. They have a lot of homework to do. And they have also then private lessons or these, the afternoon schools, which are called frontisterio here. And they sometimes finish with all of that and the sports, everything, that all their days are blocked at 10 o'clock at night or even later. And if you think about when we were children and we would come home from school and we would be out in the road and there would always be friends to find to play with, and that's where we would be out connecting, climbing, playing with children, building up skills for managing relationships and all the other necessary things. And we would, when are you coming home? And mom would be yelling at the door, it's time to come in now. And here we are yelling at our children and trying to get them out the house, not in the house. And their days are controlled from morning to night. And that in itself is quite pressured without even having, ADHD. And I can remember, all through school, my children wouldn't get sick very often. And so they never ever had sick days at home. But every now and again, what we started to do, we started to to do this thing called wellness days. And so every now and again, they would say, Mom, I need a wellness day. And I would just let them stay home from school for that day and have a wellness day. And try and do something with them, try and connect with them. The connection is so important, and we need to, I know we panic and we stress and we worry, and they're not going to make it, and if they don't do well in that test, and they won't do well at school, and if they don't do well at school, they will never get into university, and if they never get into university, they're not going to have a good job, and if they don't have a good job, their lives are going to be ruined. Okay. And it's not really based on any sort of truth. It's based on panic and fear and worry. Because if you look around the world, I mean, look at Einstein struggled at school and still managed to have a good and successful life for himself. Okay, so it's learning for us to prioritize the connection more than the importance is, did he do his homework today? Okay, it's the message I wanted to say there. So I would like to share with you now my bonus offer. So this is totally free. The only thing I would like at the end of the training is a review. If you could put a review on Google Review for me. And of course, if you wanted to work more with me, we could look at an offer to, if you needed more support in that, I'll be very happy to explore that with you. So, parenting teens with ADHD comes with unique challenges that are often misunderstood by traditional parenting methods. I can remember when my little boys were small, and I was parenting them like I was parented, and wondering why it wasn't working. Timeouts, punishments, and it was a mess. And it really hit me hard when I had come home from work one evening, tired, frustrated, been working all day. I was hungry. I just wanted to sit down and eat. And I walked in, and there were these two little monkeys, mommy, 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 jumping up and down. And because I wasn't giving them the attention they needed in that moment, started to then get really naughty and hyperactive. And I knew it was their bedtime soon. And I just snapped and I said, right, you two, you just march yourselves up to your bedroom right this minute. And my oldest son took his little younger brother's hand, and I can still see it to this day. He had his little foot on the step, and he turned around and looked me in my eyes and said, Mom, don't you love us anymore? And it was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. And I just knew there and then that this way of parenting wasn't working. And that's when I went out and I studied, and I wanted to find out why he was hyperactive, and I wanted to find out why he had difficulty concentrating. Why didn't he want to sit down and make puzzles with me? I love making puzzles. He wouldn't make a puzzle with me because he just couldn't do that. Okay, so even when the children know that they're interrupting you or their misbehavior can lead to punishment, the impulsive brain may act without even considering the outcome. So it's just really and truly, it needs a different parenting approach. It needs ways that we can build them up. And to me, always the most important thing was their self-esteem. And that is why I went and, I studied and I became a self-esteem elevation coach, because their inner voice, that voice that talks to you in your head, that you probably think it sounds like your mom or your dad, and won't you just leave me alone for 2 minutes, that's always moaning at you. We want an inner voice that's championing us on. Okay, so through the training, I'll teach you strategies that focus on the critical cornerstones designed to address all these challenges that make a lasting difference in your child's behavior. So it's not only about managing the ADHD, it's also about empowering both you and your teen. And together we can build a foundation for better behavior, stronger relationships, and greater success in managing ADHD. And as I said before, all I want for you at the end is a review, because this is an approach that has worked so well for me and my family. And I really want to get it out there and help other families with it. Okay. All right, so it's time for questions and answers. So I'm going to stop the share here. All right, wonderful. So does anyone have any questions, something I didn't cover, something you're interested, would like to know more about? You can either unmute yourself and ask me or just pop a question in the chat.
Hi, Nicole, it's Sarah here.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. So right now we have a big issue with the mobile phone, amongst other things, but that's the most prevalent thing at the moment. And we've tried all sorts of ways, as you can imagine, to try and lessen the attachment to it. But absolutely nothing's working. We've tried switching off the internet. We've tried, like you mentioned, phone-free periods, but it just he always finds a way around it, or hell lets loose. So and whilst he's on that, he's just completely focused only on that, and it's very hard to get him out of it.
Yeah, it is. And I definitely hear you with that one. A lot of parents have come to me with it. So Sarah, you know, it's a process and putting in place certain strategies. What I want you to understand right now is that the phone is her life. Is it a son you're talking about?
Son, yes,
a son. The
yeah.
phone is his lifeline. It's his support that he feels that he needs. Okay, so when life gets very, very overwhelming for people, they find some sort of distraction that can take their minds off of the overwhelm of what's going on in their life. So when we're working with children that are addicted to anything, I mean, it can be that they've started smoking or on drugs or alcohol or whatever the over shopping, whatever the addiction is not, oh, he doesn't care about himself and whatever else. It's a way of protecting and keeping themselves in a safe space. Of course, we know that the addiction is actually doing a lot of harm, but they can't see or understand that. So we need to go in and find out where are where is the need? The phone is a symptom of an internal need. Okay, so we want to find out what is the need that's going on inside of them that they need the phone like this. And then we work with the strategies parallel with that. And then we slowly manage to put in some sort of time management system on the phone. But it gets done at a pace that the child is feeling comfortable and confident with.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, because if we take the phone away and say, fine, that's it, no more phone for you, young man. You're not responsible. You can't control yourself on it. You're just not ready for a phone, and you lock it away or throw it away or do whatever it is that you would do with the phone, he will find another addiction.
Yeah, just replace it with something else.
He will replace it with something else. So the phone, yes, it's bad, it's unhealthy, but it's just a symptom. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Are there any other questions that you would like to explore with me? Check the chat if anyone's dropped something in there. Okay. All right. So we've got some people wanting to do a little bit of tapping. Okay. So if it is something that you feel that, yes, you would like to take me up on my offer of the 5-day training, you can type yes in the chat now. and I have your emails from signing up to the masterclass tonight, and I will get in contact with you and send that out. That we can set up a call and explore it and discuss it further if you would like that. Okay. And then, are we ready? This is an amazing technique. It really, really is. And it's not, it's called emotional freedom technique. And what it does is it takes the body out of fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. So it's a combination of Chinese acupressure and modern day psychology. And we're working on the similar points that you would go and do acupuncture with the needles, but there's no needles. It's a self-applied technique, and it is so useful. And I am very happy. I have a YouTube channel where I just do some quick tap-alongs, just for little things that pop up during the day of being a parent, needing a little bit more of self-love, or you know, your child's just really being annoying that day, and that you can tap along to, and you can see and feel the difference, because actually there's a somatic change. We are calming down the nervous system, and it's sending a message to the amygdala at the base of the brain that that actually all is well, that what you thought, because our bodies are primitive, was a tiger about to pounce on you and eat you, is actually only a lovely yellow and black flower out there. Okay, so once again, just do what I do and say what I say after me. I know you've got your mutes on, or you can welcome to unmute yourself and say it along with me. And just try it out. And I think what we're going to do is just do it on worry that we have for our children. So before we start, we're going to rate that worry on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being, I'm so worried, I don't know what to do. I'm feeling so helpless right now on how I'm going to help and support my child. The teachers are saying terrible things about him. He's not performing well. We're having fights every day, and I am really worried. Okay, and you rate that on a scale of 0 to 10, and 0 being, oh, my kid's fine, no problem at all. Okay. Once you've got your number, take a lovely deep breath in and out. And we're going to, underneath the little pinky finger here, we're going to do some tapping here, and just repeat after me and say, even though I am so worried about my teen, I am open to finding a bit of peace of mind in this moment. And we say that 3 times. Even though I am so worried about my teen, I am just open to finding a bit of peace of mind in this moment. Even though I'm really worried about my teen, I don't think he's doing at all well. I am open to feeling calmer about it and more positive in this moment. And now we're going to go and tap around our meridian points. So we start here with the eyebrow meets the nose. And we just focus on that emotion that we're feeling. I'm so worried. We follow it around to the little bone down here in the eye. By the eye, I'm really worried. We go under the eye. I'm so worried. Under the nose, I am really worried. In here, the chin, all of this worry. And then we make a hand and we go under the collarbones. I really am worried about my teen. Under the arm, just where the bra strap is for the girls. I'm really worried. And on top of the head, I'm so worried about him, and I feel hopeless. And we can go around again. All of this worry. When I think about his behavior, I really get worried. When the teacher tells me about his performance at school, I am overwhelmed with worry. How is he ever going to do well in life? He's not even trying. I'm so worried about my team. Take a lovely deep breath in for me. And out. And now just check in. Whatever that level of worry was, has the number gone down? Has it stayed the same? Has it come up? And just put in the chat for me if what happened. Did it come down? Did it go up or stay the same? If it came down, we are talking about the right thing. Your feeling is worry. You are really concerned. And perhaps maybe right now we just released a little bit of that worry. If the number went up, it means that there's a deeper issue at hand and we need to keep going at it. And if the number stayed the same, perhaps the feeling isn't worry, but it could be more sadness or, you know, a little bit frustrated or angry with your team. So that's all the numbers do, show us an indication of what's going on. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the webinar. All right. And okay, so we had one, it stayed the same. Yeah. So perhaps there's another feeling behind the worry. Maybe there's a little bit of sadness, perhaps, or frustration or something. So then you would take that feeling and you would carry on tapping with that. Okay. All right. So thank you all for coming. If any of you are catching the replay out there and you are interested in my free 5-day training, well, please reach out to me and I will get you a link on how we can connect and have a 15-minute conversation and see how I can help and support you best. Okay, thank you all for coming.